Hello there, film fans. It's me, your host, Jerry Horror. A little show I have called The Offering, where I take deep dives into material such as David Cronenberg films. I'm very happy to be able to speak with you tonight, and thank you to everyone at the Cinema Arts who allowed me to be on the big screen. Thank you. This is the Cult Cafe, and you are dab smack in the middle of the David Cronenberg Retrospective. I'm so happy to see you guys here. Thank you for supporting independent cinema. Thank you for supporting the Cinema Arts Center. We appreciate it and we appreciate you. God, it's cold out. I hope that you warm your car up after you see this film. Speaking of which, tonight's movie is The Brood. Now, The Brood was written by David Cronenberg during his acrimonious divorce. It was really bad. It was basically stated that The Brood is Cronenberg meditating on his own marriage, which had recently crashed and burned. So a lot of that stuff is going on in his psyche. I always talk about that. It's directors working through their problems, through trauma, through the things that are in their head that they need to get out. Film especially like Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Cronenberg states that this is his first true classical horror film in the sense of that. He feels that the other stuff was a bit different, but not quite true traditional horror in the sense that most film fans crave. Cronenberg had gone on to say that The Brood is my version of Kramer versus Kramer, but more realistic. Film scholars have stated that the prominent themes surrounding The Brood are fears of parenthood, preoccupations with being repressed, and it's also Cronenberg's thoughts on how mental illness was handled with women in the late 70s. Now, there's a bigger budget on this one. Obviously, Cronenberg is on the rise, and he was able to make this movie for $1.4 million, which was a far cry from the $179,000 that Shivers cost. This was another hit for Cronenberg, raking in over $5 million at the box office. This film was also Cronenberg's first real showdown with the Motion Picture Association of America. Notoriously, he had to change a portion of the ending as well as make some other cuts in order to secure an R rating. And even then, most of the people on the board felt that the film was generally unpleasant. The Brood was released as Chromosome 3 in France and La Clinique de la Terror in Quebec. There aren't any other crazy titles for this film. He was pretty happy with The Brood, so it stuck. This would be Cronenberg's first real taste of money. This is success. This is a director on the rise. And with that money, he was able to buy his very first home. Here's a shocker. Roger Ebert hated this movie. He called it a bore. He said it was disgusting in ways that it's not entertaining. It's just complete oppression for the audience. He stated that there are great disgusting moments in film, like Alien or Dawn of the Dead. Are there people who really want to see this reprehensible trash? And the answer is yes, because you are here watching this film. Speaking of which, this is also Cronenberg's highest per screen averaged film to date. The movie made over $700,000 in Toronto and Chicago alone. Believe it or not, at one point, Breck Eisner, son of Michael Eisner, was going to remake this film. It was in development around 2008, and by 2010, it completely fell apart. Most people cited saying that the only person who should make David Cronenberg films is David Cronenberg. With that being said, please feel free to get some popcorn, refreshments. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you. Thank you for supporting independent cinema. Oh, hey, you're in the middle of the David Cronenberg Retrospective. So don't forget, on January 20th, we've got The Fly, and then on January 27th, the director's most controversial film, shockingly, Crash. Welcome back to the movies. I hope you've had a really happy new year, and please, start that car. It's freezing out.